A week before Christmas, I heard my son call me a useless old woman. Not to my face. That would have required courage. No, I heard it through his phone on speaker in my living room while he was in the bathroom. His wife Tanya on the other end planning their spa weekend. Just leave the kids with mom, Marcus said, voice dripping with contempt. That useless old woman does nothing all day anyway. I stood there, in my kitchen, dish towel in my hand, water still running in the sink. 62 years old, and that's what my only son thought of me. The woman who raised him, alone. After his father walked out, the woman who worked double shifts as an ER nurse for 32 years so he could have everything. The woman who spent the last year watching Netflix in a fog because retiring felt like falling off a cliff into nothing. Useless. I turned off the water. My hands were shaking. Marcus came out of the bathroom, grabbed his phone, kissed my cheek without looking at me. "Thanks for the coffee, Mom. Gotta run." I watched him drive away in the BMW I helped him buy 3 years ago when his investment opportunity fell through. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing that word, useless. See, here's what Marcus didn't know about his useless old mother. For 32 years, I saved lives at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta. Gunshot wounds, heart attacks, car crashes, overdoses. I held people's hands while they died. I told families their loved ones didn't make it. I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, every holiday Marcus now expected me to show up for. I retired a year ago, and I was tired. Bone-deep, soul-crushing tired. The kind of tired that settles into your bones after 3 decades of carrying other people's worst days. I'd been feeling restless for months before I heard that phone call, like something needed to change. But I didn't know what. I just needed one push. So yeah, I watched a lot of Netflix. I stayed in my pajamas some days. I stopped wearing makeup. I let my hair go natural gray instead of dyeing it every 6 weeks. I thought I'd earned that rest. Apparently, I was wrong. The next morning, I went to Publix for groceries, still in that fog, moving through aisles like a ghost. Then I ran into Patricia Williams in the produce section. Patricia and I worked together for 15 years. Same ER, same overnight shifts, same dark humor that kept us sane. She'd retired 6 months before me. But Patricia looked different. Alive. "Helen Carter, is that you?" She grabbed me in a hug that smelt like expensive perfume and joy. "Girl, where have you been?" "Around," I said weakly. "How are you?" "Living my best life, honey. Just got back from Savannah. Took a painting class, joined a book club, started volunteering at the children's shelter on Ponce. You should come with me sometime." The children's shelter. Something stirred in my chest. Something I hadn't felt in months. "I don't know," I started. I'm not really... "Not really what? Busy?" Patricia laughed, but it wasn't mean. "Helen, we spent 3 decades putting ourselves last, taking care of everybody else. We earned the right to do something that fills us up instead of drains us empty." She handed me a flyer from her purse. Rainbow House Children's Center. Volunteers needed. "Think about it," Patricia said, squeezing my hand. "These kids need people who show up. And between you and me, you look like you need somewhere to show up for." I drove home with that flyer on my passenger seat. Useless old woman. I looked at that flyer for 3 days. The Friday before Christmas, I finally called. Rainbow House, this is Evelyn. The voice was warm, southern, unrushed. Hi, I'm Helen. I saw your flyer about volunteering. Oh, honey, we would love to have you. Can you come by Monday, meet the kids? Monday, Christmas week. The same week Marcus would inevitably call asking me to watch his 3 kids so he and Tanya could do whatever selfish thing they had planned. Monday works, I said. After I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in a year. Purpose. That Sunday, Marcus called, right on schedule. Hey, Mom, quick question. You doing anything Christmas Eve? My heart started pounding. Why? Tanya and I got this amazing spa package in Helen, Georgia, 2 nights, but we need someone to watch the kids. You're free, right? There it was, the assumption, the entitlement, the absolute certainty that I had nothing better to do than be convenient for him. 1 week ago, I would have said yes. I would have swallowed my hurt and showed up because that's what I always did. But I kept hearing it. Useless old woman. Actually, Marcus, I have plans. Silence. Like he couldn't process what I'd said. Plans? What plans? The disbelief in his voice made something crack open inside me. That's my business. Mom, come on. What did you possibly... I said, I have plans, Marcus. You'll need to find other arrangements. More silence. Then, are you serious right now? Very serious. Mom, it's Christmas. Family is supposed to... Then start treating me like family instead of free childcare. I hung up. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't from hurt. It was from something that felt dangerously close to freedom. My phone rang 4 more times that night. I didn't answer. Monday, December 21st, I drove to Rainbow House. The building was small, painted cheerful yellow with a playground out front. Inside smelt like crayons and hope. A woman met me at the door, late 60s, silver locks, eyes that saw straight through bullshit. You must be Helen. I'm Evelyn Washington. She shook my hand firmly. First time volunteering? Yeah, I don't know if I'll be any good at this. Evelyn smiled. Baby, you showed up. That already makes you good at this. These kids don't need perfect. They need present. Come on, let me introduce you. She led me to a reading room where 6 kids sat on colorful cushions, ages 5 to maybe 10. This is Miss Helen, everybody. She's going to read to us today. A little boy with big brown eyes looked up at me. You coming back tomorrow? Something about the way he asked, like he'd heard that promise before and watched it break. If you want me to, I said carefully. Everybody says that. His voice was so small. Then they don't. I knelt down to his eye level. What's your name? Jamal. Well, Jamal, I'm going to make you a promise. If I say I'm coming back, I'm coming back. Deal? He studied my face for a long time, then nodded. I read to those kids for 2 hours. The snowy day, where the wild things are, a chair for my mother. When I left, Jamal hugged my legs. See you tomorrow, Miss Helen? See you tomorrow, Jamal. I cried in my car for 20 minutes. Not sad tears, clarity tears. I'd spent 32 years taking care of strangers in the ER who thanked me. I'd spent the last year being taken for granted by my own son. These kids needed me, really needed me. Not because I was convenient, but because I showed up. That's when Evelyn knocked on my car window. I rolled it down, embarrassed, wiping my face. You okay, baby? I don't know. My son. The whole story came spilling out. The phone call, the contempt, the years of sacrifice, the expectation that I'd always be available. Evelyn leaned against my car. Let me tell you something. Being needed isn't the same as being loved, and being busy isn't the same as being alive. I stared at her. You spent your whole life caring for people, but when's the last time you cared for yourself? When's the last time you did something that filled you up instead of emptying you out? I couldn't answer. These kids, Evelyn gestured to the building, they're going to teach you the difference between people who use you and people who value you, if you let them. As she walked back inside, she called over her shoulder, "By the way, we're not just a day center. Rainbow House is also a residential shelter. These babies sleep here, eat here, live here. Just so you know what you're walking into." I came back Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Each day, Jamal waited by the door. Each day, his smile got a little bigger when I walked in. Each day, I felt a little more like myself. Thursday night, December 24th, Marcus showed up at my house unannounced. "Mom, we need to talk." I let him in, didn't offer coffee. "What's going on with you? You're acting so weird." "Weird how?" "You're never available anymore. You won't watch the kids. You're being difficult." Difficult. Here's the thing about Marcus. He was always brilliant at his job. Marketing executive, made partner at 35. But at home, he delegated everything to Tanya, to me, and thank yous came maybe once a year. "Marcus, when's the last time you asked me how I was doing?" He blinked. "What?" "How I'm doing. How retirement's been. If I'm okay. When did you last ask me anything that wasn't a favor?" "That's not fair. I've been busy with work, kids, life. I know. You're always busy. But somehow you're never too busy to need something from me." His jaw tightened. "So this is what? Payback? You're punishing me because—" "I'm not punishing you. I'm choosing me for once. By volunteering with random kids instead of spending time with your own grandchildren?" There it was. The guilt trip. The manipulation. I stood up. "Marcus, I love your children, but I'm not required to sacrifice my entire life to make yours more convenient, especially not after—" I stopped. I wasn't ready to tell him I'd heard what he said. Not yet. "After what?" "Nothing. You should go. Tanya's probably waiting." He stood there confused and angry. "You've changed, Mom." "Good," I said. "Maybe I should have changed a long time ago." After he left, I sat in the dark for an hour. My phone lit up. Text from Tanya. "Helen, please be reasonable. We really need this weekend." I didn't respond. That night, I laid out my Mrs. Claus costume for tomorrow's party. Red dress from Goodwill, white apron, cheap wig from Party City. It was perfect. My phone rang at 8 p.m. Marcus. I almost didn't answer. Then I thought, let's get this over with. "Mom, Tanya told me what you said. You're really not coming tomorrow?" "I'm really not." "This is insane. It's Christmas." "Exactly. And I'm spending it where I'm appreciated. What about us?" The question hung in the air. What about us? Like they'd ever once asked, what about me? "Marcus, I love you. I always will. But I'm done being your backup plan, your emergency contact, your free labor. I'm done being invisible unless you need something. You're being selfish." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Yeah, Marcus, for the first time in 62 years, I'm being selfish. And you know what? It feels amazing." I hung up, turned off my phone, went to bed early. Christmas morning, Friday, December 25th, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in a decade. I got dressed in my Mrs. Claus outfit, did my makeup, actually smiled in the mirror. At 9 a.m., my phone turned on automatically. 7 missed calls, 12 texts, 1 voicemail from Marcus. "Mom, where are you? You're supposed to be here. The kids are asking for you. Call me back right now." The entitlement was breathtaking. I opened my text thread with him, typed carefully. "Good morning, sweetheart. I'm being useless somewhere else today. Merry Christmas." Sent. Then I turned my phone back off. I'd deal with blocking his number later. And drove to Rainbow House. When I walked through those yellow doors, Jamal was waiting. He ran to me and grabbed my hand. "You came back. You're really Mrs. Claus." I knelt down, looked into those eyes that had seen too much disappointment. "I told you, baby, when I make a promise, I keep it." For the first time in a year, I felt like I mattered. Not because someone needed me, but because I chose to show up. That afternoon, while I was reading The Night Before Christmas, my phone started vibrating. I had turned it back on after the reading, thinking maybe I should at least check. Over and over and over. I ignored it. When the party ended and the kids went to their rooms upstairs for rest time, Evelyn pulled me aside. "Helen, your phone's been going crazy for the last hour. You might want to check it." I pulled it out. 23 missed calls from Marcus, 15 from Tanya, and 1 text from a number I didn't recognize. I opened it. My blood went cold. "Mrs. Carter, this is Officer Rodriguez with Atlanta PD. We need you to call us regarding your son Marcus immediately. It's urgent." Before you continue, press follow or scan the QR code for more emotional, meaningful stories that remind you what it means to feel alive. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat at my kitchen table, reading that email over and over. Dated December 10th, 2 weeks before Christmas. Before I'd said no. Before I'd set boundaries. Marcus had been planning this the whole time. At 6 a.m., I called the only person I could think of. "Helen? Baby, it's early. You okay?" Evelyn's voice, thick with sleep but alert. "I need a lawyer. A good one. Can you help me?" "What happened?" I told her everything. The email. The date. What it meant. Silence on the other end. Then, "That son of a bitch." "Evelyn? No, I'm sorry, but that's what he is. He's trying to steal your life, Helen. Your freedom, your money, everything." "I know. Give me 2 hours. I know someone." At 9 a.m., I sat in the office of Jennifer Martinez, attorney at law. 50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Mrs. Carter, I've reviewed the email you forwarded. This is serious, but it's also sloppy." "Sloppy how?" "Your son's attorney sent this to you directly. That's a tactical error. It shows their hand. They're trying to intimidate you into compliance before filing anything official." "So what do I do?" Jennifer leaned forward. "We fight, and we document everything. Every interaction with Marcus, every bill you pay on time, every volunteer shift, every coherent decision you make. We build a case that you're not just competent, you're thriving." "How long will this take?" "If they actually file, could be months. But Mrs. Carter, here's what I need you to understand. Your son is going to escalate. He's going to try to paint you as unstable, irrational, a danger to yourself. I'm not any of those things. I know, but he's going to try to make it look that way. So from this moment forward, you document everything. Keep a journal, save every text, record conversations if Georgia law allows, which it does, one-party consent. Don't give him any ammunition. I left that office with a retainer paid and a plan. And a rage I hadn't felt in decades. Monday morning, I went to Rainbow House like nothing had happened. Jamal ran to me like always. "Helen, I drew you something." A picture of the two of us holding hands under a rainbow. I held it together until I got to Evelyn's office. Then I cried. He's trying to take this away from me. If Marcus gets guardianship, he controls everything. Where I live, what I do, who I see. I could lose Jamal before I even get him. Evelyn grabbed my shoulders. "Listen to me. That boy out there, he needs you, and you need him. So we're not going to let Marcus win. You hear me?" "I hear you." "Good. Now dry your eyes. You've got kids waiting." That week, I did exactly what Jennifer said. Documented everything. Paid bills online. Screenshot every transaction with timestamps. Volunteered. Had Evelyn sign a log of my hours and comportment. Drove myself everywhere. Kept a mileage journal. Cooked, cleaned, managed my own life perfectly. Meanwhile, Marcus started calling again. I let every call go to voicemail. Saved every message. "Mom, please call me back. We need to talk about what's best for you." "Mom, I'm worried about you living alone. Maybe we should look at assisted living facilities." "Mom, you're not thinking clearly. Let me help you." Every message, he sounded more concerned, more reasonable. It made me sick. Friday afternoon, he showed up at my house. I'd installed a doorbell camera. Was recording. "Mom, open the door. I know you're in there." I opened it, stood in the doorway. Didn't invite him in. "What do you want, Marcus?" "I want to talk about your lawyer." My blood went cold. "How do you know about my lawyer?" "Mom, Atlanta's legal community is small. Word gets around. Why do you need a lawyer? I'm just trying to help you." "Help me? You're trying to have me declared incompetent." His face didn't change. That's how I knew he'd been practicing this. "Mom, that's not what this is. I'm concerned about your mental health. You've been acting erratically, abandoning family, making impulsive decisions. I just want to make sure you're okay." "I'm more than okay. I'm finally free." "Free?" He laughed, condescending. "Mom, you're 62 years old, living alone, volunteering with random kids instead of spending time with your actual family. That's not freedom. That's confusion." I stepped closer to him, made sure the camera caught everything. "Marcus, I know about the email. Dated December 10th, 2 weeks before Christmas, before I set any boundaries, before I said no to anything. You were already planning this." He didn't deny it, just shifted tactics. "Because I saw this coming. I saw you pulling away, changing. I knew something was wrong." Something was wrong. I was being taken for granted, and instead of respecting me, you decided to destroy me. "I'm trying to protect you." From what? From having my own life? From making my own choices? From not being your free babysitter anymore? You're sick, Mom. You just can't see it. Get off my property, now. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This hostility, this irrationality. Mom, please. I said, get off my property or I'm calling the police again. He laughed. but his face told me everything. This was just beginning. That night, Jennifer called. Helen, they filed. Petition for competency evaluation. Court date is 6 weeks. My stomach dropped. 6 weeks! That's actually good. Gives us time to prepare. But Helen, I need you to be ready. They're going to bring witnesses. They're going to paint a picture of you as deteriorating. Can you think of anyone who might testify for them? I thought about it. Tanya, maybe some of Marcus's friends who only know me as Mom, not as a person. What about people who will testify for you? Evelyn, Patricia from the hospital, my former supervisor at Grady, Officer Rodriguez maybe. Good. We'll depose all of them. Build our case. Helen, you're going to be fine. I've seen the evidence. You're coherent, independent, financially stable. No judge will grant this. But I heard her uncertainty in her voice. January became February. The court date loomed. I kept volunteering, kept documenting, kept living my life exactly as I had been. But the stress was eating me alive. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart pounding, wondering, what if Marcus won? What if a judge decided I was incompetent? What if I lost everything I'd just found? One Wednesday in late February, I was reading to the kids when Sandra, Jamal's caseworker, showed up. Helen, can we talk privately? My heart sank. In Evelyn's office, Sandra looked uncomfortable. Helen, I received a call yesterday from someone claiming to be concerned about your fitness as a foster parent. Who? They wouldn't leave a name, but they made some serious allegations that you're mentally unstable, that you're involved in legal proceedings regarding your competency, that you're not fit to care for a child. I closed my eyes. Marcus. I don't know who it was, but Helen, I have to investigate. I have to do a home visit, interview people who know you. It's protocol. When? Next week. I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything to these claims, but I have to follow procedure. After she left, I sat there, shaking. Marcus wasn't just trying to control me. He was trying to take Jamal away, the one pure, good thing in my life right now. That night, I called Jennifer. Can he do this? Can he sabotage my foster application? Technically, anyone can make a complaint to DFCS, but Helen, if their investigation shows the complaints are baseless, and they will, it actually helps our case, shows a pattern of harassment. But what if they don't see it that way? What if they decide I'm too risky? Then we fight that too. But Helen, listen to me. You need to stay calm, stay consistent. Don't let him see you rattled. Easy for her to say. The home visit happened on a Tuesday. Sandra walked through my house, asked questions, watched me interact with Jamal. How long have you known Miss Helen? He asked. Since December, before Christmas. And do you feel safe here? Super safe. Helen keeps her promises. She said she'd come back every day, and she did. She said I could live here, and I do. She doesn't lie. Sandra smiled. What do you like about living here? I have my own room, and Helen makes breakfast every morning. Real breakfast, not cereal. And she helps with homework, and she doesn't yell. And she sees me, like really sees me, not like I'm a problem. I had to turn away so he wouldn't see me cry. After Jamal went to play, Sandra sat with me. Helen, I see no evidence of instability. Your home is clean, organized. You're clearly bonded with Jamal. Your references are glowing. Whatever complaint was made appears to be malicious. Relief flooded through me. However, Sandra continued, I do need to note in my report that you're involved in ongoing legal proceedings.
That's not disqualifying, but it is relevant. The proceedings are my son trying to control me because I finally set boundaries. I believe you, and I'll note that in my report. But Helen, I need to ask, if this goes to court and somehow doesn't go your way, what happens to Jamal? The question gutted me. I don't know, but I'm going to fight like hell to make sure it doesn't come to that. Sandra left. I held Jamal that night while he did homework, thinking about how close I was to losing him.
And how far Marcus was willing to go. 3 weeks before the court date, Marcus tried one more time. Showed up at Rainbow House, walked right into the reading room where I was with the kids. Evelyn tried to stop him. He pushed past her. "Mom, enough. Drop the lawyer. Let's handle this as a family." I stood up slowly, the kids watching. "Marcus, you need to leave. This is a place for children." "I'm trying to help you. Why can't you see that?" "Because I'm not stupid and I'm not sick. I'm just done being used." "You're making a mistake. If this goes to court, everyone will see how irrational you've become." Jamal stood up, tiny, 7 years old, standing between me and Marcus. "Don't talk to Helen like that." Marcus looked down at him. "Kid, this is between me and my mother." "She's not just your mother. She's Helen, and she's nice, and you're mean." My heart exploded. Marcus's face turned red. "Mom, this is what I'm talking about. You're prioritizing strangers over your own family." "He's not a stranger. And even if he was, he treats me better than you do." Marcus looked at me. Really looked at me. And for a second, I saw something crack. Not remorse, but realization. He was losing. "You're going to regret this," he said quietly. Then he left. Evelyn called the police, filed a trespassing report. Jennifer added it to our evidence file. 1 week before court, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mrs. Carter? This is Dr. Rebecca Walsh. I'm a psychiatrist. I was contacted by your son's attorney to perform an independent evaluation of your mental state." My hands went cold. "When?" "They've requested I meet with you this week. Tomorrow, if possible." "And if I refuse?" "That's your right, but it will be noted in my report to the court, and the judge may not view that favorably." I called Jennifer immediately. "Don't go alone. I'll be there with you. And Helen, be yourself. Answer honestly. You have nothing to hide." The next day, I sat in Dr. Walsh's office, Jennifer beside me. For 2 hours, Dr. Walsh asked questions about my childhood, my career, my retirement, my relationship with Marcus, my decision to volunteer, my foster application. She gave me cognitive tests, memory tests, problem-solving exercises. I passed everything easily. At the end, Dr. Walsh closed her notepad. "Mrs. Carter, off the record, you're one of the most mentally sound people I've evaluated in years. Whatever your son thinks is happening, it's not cognitive decline." "Will you tell the judge that?" "I'll tell the judge exactly what I found, which is a woman who made difficult but healthy choices after a major life transition. That's not incompetence. That's growth." I left that office feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. 3 days before court, I was putting Jamal to bed when he asked, "Helen, What happens if the judge says you can't take care of me? I smoothed his hair back. That's not going to happen. But what if? I couldn't lie to him. Then I fight harder and harder and harder until they understand that you belong here. Do I belong here? More than anyone I've ever known. He fell asleep holding my hand. 2 days before court, Jennifer called with news. Helen, I just got Marcus's witness list. It's not good. Who's on it? Tanya, 3 of your neighbors, and your ex-husband. The room spun. My ex-husband? I haven't spoken to him in 25 years. Apparently, Marcus tracked him down, and Helen, according to the pre-trial brief, he's planning to testify that you were unstable during your marriage, that you had anger issues, that he left because you were impossible to live with. 25 years!
And my ex-husband was about to walk into a courtroom and destroy me all over again. I sat down hard. Can he do that? Can he just lie? We can cross-examine, discredit him, but Helen, I need you to tell me the truth. Was there any instability in your marriage? I thought back to being 24 years old, married to a man who cheated, who drank, who blamed me for everything. To the one time I'd thrown a plate during a fight, not at him, at the wall. To the arguments, the tears, the desperation of trying to hold together something already broken. I wasn't perfect, I said quietly. I was young and angry and hurt. But I wasn't unstable. I was drowning. Then that's what we'll show. Helen, 2 more days. Can you hold on? I don't have a choice. That night I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Just sat in Jamal's room watching him breathe, wondering if this was the last night he'd be mine. The morning of the court date, I dressed carefully. Navy suit, pearl earrings, hair neat. Looked like every competent professional woman I'd ever been. Jennifer met me on the courthouse steps. Remember, stay calm, answer clearly, don't let them rattle you. What if I lose? You won't. But she didn't sound certain. We walked into that courtroom. Marcus sat on the other side with his lawyer, Tanya beside him. My ex-husband, Robert, sat in the back row. Older, grayer, but with the same smug expression I remembered. The bailiff called the court to order. All rise, the Honorable Judge Patricia Holbrook presiding. The judge entered, 60s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression. She looked at me, then at Marcus. Let's begin. Marcus's lawyer stood up first. Your Honor, we'll show that Mrs. Carter has demonstrated increasingly erratic behavior over the past year, abandoning family obligations, making impulsive decisions, exhibiting signs of cognitive decline. We ask the court to order a full competency evaluation and, if necessary, grant Mr. Carter limited guardianship to ensure his mother's safety and well-being. Then Jennifer stood. Your Honor, what we actually have here is a grown man who can't handle his mother setting boundaries. Mrs. Carter is mentally sound, financially stable, and living her life on her own terms. This petition is nothing more than an attempt at control disguised as concern. Judge Holbrook looked at both of them. I've reviewed the filings. Let's hear from the witnesses. Mr. Whitmore, call your first. Marcus's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we call Robert Carter to the stand. My ex-husband walked to the witness box, and I realized this was only the beginning. Everything I'd built over the last year was about to be torn apart.
Robert Carter took the stand. My ex-husband, the man who abandoned Marcus and I 25 years ago. He looked directly at me as he was sworn in. That same smug expression I remembered from 1,000 arguments. Marcus's lawyer stood. Mr. Carter, can you describe your marriage to the defendant? Difficult, Robert said. Helen was unstable, angry all the time, threw things during arguments. I tried to make it work, but eventually I had to leave for my own safety. I felt Jennifer's hand on my arm. Stay calm. And your son, Marcus, how did Helen's behavior affect him? The boy was terrified of her. She'd scream at me in front of him, create a hostile environment. I wanted custody, but she threatened me, said she'd destroy me in court. Every word was a lie. Every word sounded believable. Judge Holbrook made notes. Her face gave nothing away. Thank you, Mr. Carter. Marcus's lawyer sat down, satisfied. Jennifer stood for cross-examination. She didn't rush, just looked at Robert for a long moment. Mr. Carter, you left your wife and son 25 years ago, correct? Correct. And how much child support did you pay in those 25 years? Robert shifted. I had financial difficulties. How much? None, but that was because you paid $0 in 25 years to support your son. Yet you're here today concerned about his welfare? I'm concerned about my ex-wife's mental state. You mentioned Mrs. Carter threw things during arguments. What did she throw? Plates, glasses, at you? Pause. Sometimes. Jennifer pulled out a document. Your Honor, this is a police report from March 1999. Mr. Carter was arrested for domestic disturbance after neighbors called 911. The report states Mrs. Carter had visible bruising. She declined to press charges. Mr. Carter, did you hit your wife? The courtroom went silent. That was a misunderstanding. Did you hit your wife? Once, maybe twice, but she provoked. And the plate she threw, according to her statement to police, she threw it at the wall, not at you, during an argument where you were intoxicated and threatening. Is that accurate? Robert's face turned red. I don't remember. You don't remember beating your wife, or you don't want to admit it in front of your son. Marcus made a sound, small, broken. Jennifer wasn't done. Mr. Carter, when did you last speak to Marcus before this trial? I'm not sure. I'll help you. Never. You haven't spoken to your son in 25 years. You abandoned him when he was 13 years old. Didn't call on birthdays, didn't send Christmas cards, nothing. And yet you're here today testifying about his mother's fitness. He reached out to me, said his mother was sick. He reached out because he's desperate to win this case, and you saw an opportunity. What did he offer you to testify? Marcus's lawyer shot up. Objection! Speculation! Sustained, Judge Holbrook said. But she was looking at Robert differently now. Jennifer smiled. No further questions. Robert left the stand looking like a man who'd been skinned alive. Marcus sat frozen, staring at nothing. Next witness, Tanya. She walked to the stand slowly. Wouldn't look at Marcus, wouldn't look at me.
Marcus's lawyer stood. Mrs. Morrison, you've witnessed your mother-in-law's behavior firsthand. Can you describe what you've observed? Tanya took a breath. Her hands were shaking. I've observed... She stopped, started again. I've observed a woman who worked 32 years as a nurse, who raised my husband alone, who helped me with my children for years without complaint.
Marcus's lawyer froze. Mrs. Morrison, that's not... I've observed a woman who finally set boundaries after being taken for granted, who finally chose herself after a lifetime of sacrifice. And I've observed my husband and me treating her like garbage for it. Mrs. Morrison, you're not answering the question. Yes, I am. Tanya finally looked at Marcus, tears streaming. You wanted me to say your mother's losing her mind, but she's not. She's finding it, and we couldn't handle that she didn't need us anymore. Marcus's face crumpled. When Helen stopped babysitting, we panicked because we'd built our entire life around using her. And when she said no, Marcus decided to destroy her rather than respect her. Your Honor, Marcus's lawyer was desperately trying to interrupt. I'm not finished. Tanya turned to the judge. Helen Carter is the sanest person I know. She recognized she was burnt out and did something about it. She set healthy boundaries. She found purpose. And instead of supporting her, we tried to punish her. I'm ashamed of myself, and I'm ashamed of him. She pointed at Marcus. Don't make the same mistake we did. Don't give him control over her life. She earned her freedom. Tanya left the stand, walked past Marcus without looking at him, kept walking right out of the courtroom. Judge Holbrook called a 15-minute recess. In the hallway, Jennifer grabbed my shoulders. Helen, we just won. Did you know she was going to do that? No, I had no idea. She destroyed their entire case. The judge is going to dismiss this. I couldn't feel relieved yet. Couldn't feel anything except exhausted. When we returned, Jennifer called our witnesses. Evelyn testified about my work at Rainbow House, my consistency, my competence. Dr. Walsh testified about my cognitive evaluation. No signs of decline whatsoever. Officer Rodriguez testified about Marcus's break-in. He was trying to create evidence of instability where none existed. Finally, Jennifer called me. I took the stand, looked at Judge Holbrook, not at Marcus. Jennifer asked simple questions. I answered honestly. About retirement, about burnout, about the phone call I'd overheard, about choosing to volunteer, about Jamal. Why did you set boundaries with your son? Because I realized I'd spent my entire life proving my worth through service, and when I stopped serving, I felt worthless. But that wasn't true. I wasn't worthless. I was just tired, and I deserved rest. I deserved respect. I deserved a life that was mine. And when you set those boundaries, how did Marcus respond? He tried to have me declared incompetent because controlling me was easier than respecting me. I looked at Marcus finally. He was crying silently. I love my son. I always will, but I can't sacrifice myself to make his life easier anymore. That's not love. That's just erasure. Jennifer sat down. Marcus's lawyer stood for cross-examination, but his heart wasn't in it anymore. Mrs. Carter, don't you think volunteering with foster children instead of spending time with your own grandchildren is unusual? No, I think spending every waking moment being available to people who don't appreciate you is unusual. I think never having time for yourself is unusual. I think sacrificing your mental health for people who call you useless is unusual. He had no response to that. No further questions. Judge Holbrook looked at both legal teams. I've heard enough. I'll issue my ruling now.
My heart stopped. I find that Mrs. Helen Carter is fully competent, financially stable, mentally sound, living independently and making rational decisions. This petition is not only without merit, it's abusive.
Marcus made a broken sound. Mr. Carter, your mother set boundaries, healthy, reasonable boundaries. And instead of respecting them, you attempted to use the legal system to override her autonomy. That is reprehensible. She looked directly at him. You're fortunate your mother isn't countersuing for harassment. This case is dismissed. Furthermore, Mr. Carter, you are ordered to pay your mother's legal fees. All of them. The gavel came down. It was over. Jennifer hugged me. Evelyn rushed from the gallery and grabbed both of us. I just stood there, shaking. I had won. In the hallway, Marcus waited. Jennifer stepped between us. Mr. Carter, you need to leave. I just want to talk to her, please. I put my hand on Jennifer's arm. It's okay. Evelyn and Jennifer stepped back, stayed close. Marcus looked destroyed, eyes red, face pale. Mom, His voice broke. I don't know what to say. Then don't say anything. I'm so sorry. He couldn't finish, just sobbed. I watched my son fall apart in a courthouse hallway. Part of me wanted to comfort him. That's what I'd always done. But a bigger part of me knew he needed to feel this. Marcus, I heard your father testify today. I heard the lies he told. And I realized something. You were doing the same thing to me that he did. Taking a strong woman and trying to convince the world she was the problem. I know. Mom, I know. I saw Dad up there and I saw myself. I became him, the person I swore I'd never be. Why? Why did you do this? He slid down the wall, sat on the floor. Didn't care who saw. Because when you said no, I panicked. My whole life you were always there, always available, always fixing everything. And when you stopped, I didn't know how to function. So instead of learning, I tried to force you back into the box I needed you in. By destroying me. I thought I was helping, I really did. I convinced myself you were sick because that was easier than admitting I was selfish. I sat down next to him. Not close, just near. Marcus, I'm not the parent you needed me to be when you were 13. I was working doubles. I was absent. I was drowning. And I'm sorry for that. But I did my best. And it was enough to get you to adulthood. What you do with that is your responsibility now. I know. Do you? Because you spent the last 3 months trying to take away my freedom, my autonomy, my life. That's not love, Marcus. That's control. I know. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if I can. You can't. Not today, maybe not for years. But if you want even a chance, and I mean the smallest chance, you start by leaving me alone. What? I don't want to see you. Don't want calls or texts or flowers or apologies. I want space, real space, to heal from what you did to me. For how long? I don't know. Until I'm ready. If I'm ever ready. Mom! Marcus, you tried to erase me. You can't fix that with sorry.
You have to live with it, and I have to decide if I can forgive it. But right now, I need you gone." He nodded, stood up slowly. "I love you, Mom. I know you do. But love without respect is just manipulation." I sat there on that courthouse floor until Jennifer helped me up. "You okay?" "I will be." 3 weeks later, Sandra from DFCS called. "Helen, the complaint against your foster application has been withdrawn, and given the court ruling, we're moving forward with approval. Jamal can move in next month." I cried for an hour. May came, then June. The day Jamal moved in permanently, he stood in my living room with his garbage bag of belongings. "Is this really forever?" "Really forever, baby." He hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. That first month was hard. Nightmares, fears, testing boundaries. But slowly, he settled. Started believing I wasn't leaving. Started calling the house home instead of Helen's house. Started smiling without looking surprised that he was happy. 3 months after the trial, Marcus sent a letter, not asking for anything, just telling me he was in therapy, that he'd separated from Tanya temporarily. They were trying to figure out if their marriage was salvageable, that he was learning about narcissistic behaviors, about control, about his father's patterns living in him. He didn't ask to see me, just said, "When you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be here." I put the letter in a drawer. 6 months after the trial, Tanya asked to meet for coffee. I almost said no. Then I remembered her testimony, how she'd destroyed Marcus's case to tell the truth. We met at the same coffee shop where she'd apologized months before. I left Marcus 2 months ago, took the kids. We're figuring out custody. I'm sorry. I'm not. He needed to lose everything to understand what he had, and I needed to stop being complicit in how he treated people. She looked at me. "Helen, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know testifying that day was the first honest thing I'd done in years, and it saved me, not just you." "Why did you do it?" "Because I looked at you on trial for being strong, and I realized I'd spent 10 years being weak. And I was teaching my daughters that's what women do, disappear for men." We talked for 2 hours, real talking. When we left, she hugged me. "I hope someday you can forgive me." "I'm working on it," I said. And I was. December came. 1 year since everything changed. Christmas Eve, Jamal and I decorated cookies. He was 8 now, confident, happy. "Helen, can Marcus come over sometime?" I paused. "Why do you ask?" "Because he's your son, and you're sad sometimes. I can tell." "You're very observant, baby." "So, can he?" I thought about it. About the letters Marcus had sent over the months. About the therapy. About time. Maybe. Not yet, but maybe. Okay. At noon, my doorbell rang. Jamal ran to answer it before I could stop him. He came back confused. "Helen, there's a man here with presents. Says he's your son." My heart stopped. I went to the door. Marcus stood there. Thinner. Older, somehow. Holding wrapped gifts. "I know you said space. I know you said not yet. But I wanted to drop these off. For you and Jamal. I'll leave them and go." "Marcus." "You don't have to say anything, Mom. I just wanted you to know I'm still here, still trying, still—" His voice broke. "Still sorry." Jamal appeared next to me, looked at Marcus, then at me. "Helen, can he come in? Just for a minute?" I looked at my son. at the man who tried to destroy me, who'd learned what that cost. 1 hour, I said. Marcus's face transformed. Really? 1 hour. We eat, we talk, then you leave, and we see how it goes. Thank you. Mom, thank you. He came in. Awkward, humble, different. We ate cookies. Jamal showed Marcus his room, talked about soccer. Marcus asked about me. Really asked. How was volunteering? How was retirement? Was I happy? I'm getting there, I said. When the hour ended, Marcus stood to leave. Can I come back sometime? We'll see. That's more than I deserve. At the door, he turned. Mom, Jamal's lucky to have you. And I was too. I just couldn't see it. After he left, Jamal looked at me. You think he changed? I think he's trying. That's a start. That night, after Jamal was asleep, I sat on my porch, looked at my house, my life, my choices. 1 year ago, I was useless. Today, I was free to set boundaries, free to choose myself, free to build a life that filled me up instead of emptied me out. I'd lost a son for a while, maybe forever, maybe not. But I'd gained myself, and I'd gained Jamal, and I'd learned the most important lesson of my 63 years. Your worth isn't measured by who needs you. It's measured by who you are when nobody does. I was Helen, not Nurse Helen, not Mom Helen, not Grandma Helen, just Helen. And for the first time in my life, that was enough. Actually, it was more than enough. It was everything.